Hello students, in this video we will learn the concept called Ohm's Law. Ohm's Law is very important in electricity. This gives the relation between potential difference and current. Potential difference is known as voltage. The statement of Ohm's Law is the current flowing in a circuit is directly proportional to the potential difference, that is voltage. So how we write V is directly proportional to I, and to replace the proportionality symbol we use V equals to I, and the proportionality constant called R is used. So here R is the constant and it is called as resistance. What is resistance? Resistance means the opposition to the current flow is called resistance. So the formula becomes V by I equals to R. Here if you increase the resistance, then the current decreases. Now we shall see how to prove this by using the experimental setup. So the experimental setup has battery, switch, ammeter, voltmeter, resistor and a rheostat. To prove Ohm's law, here is the experimental setup. How we connect this? First you see this is battery, and the battery, positive battery is connected to positive of the ammeter, and from positive ammeter to negative ammeter connection is there. From negative ammeter to the connection is to the positive voltmeter, and here to this positive to the voltmeter we have connected a wire. This wire has a resistance, and the voltmeter is connected in parallel. This is called parallel connection, where we have taken a branch. So this is parallel connection is taken. Then negative voltmeter to rheostat. This is called rheostat. The rheostat means you can increase the resistance or decrease the resistance. You can control the current flow by increasing the resistance. So this rheostat is also called as variable resistor. Then from rheostat to switch, this is switch, and from switch is also called as key, and from the switch it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. So when we switch on this battery, the current flows here and the current shows here in ammeter is used to measure the current. So it is showing current and the voltage is 4 volts and the current flow is 1 ampere. Why it is 1 ampere? Because there is resistance. So due to resistance the current flow is less. So now we have to note down what is the voltmeter reading and ammeter reading. The resistance is maximum this side, current flow is 0. So we have to write down in the table. Here is the table. We will note down it in voltmeter reading and ammeter reading. So voltmeter reading is 0 and ammeter reading is 0. Next we will set it to 1 volt. Between 0 and 2 there are 10 lines, means here from 0 to 5 it is 1 volt. So I will set this to 1 volt. So for 1 volt the current is 0.3 ampere. Now I will make it 2 volts. Yes, for 2 volts it is 0.6. Then I make it 3 volts. For 3 volts, yes, for 3 volts it is 0.9. The ammeter reading is 0.9. So whenever you increase the voltage, the current increases. That we will note down here. So here I noted down when voltmeter reading was 0, ammeter is 0. For 1 volt, if you increase the voltage 1 volt, current becomes 0.3 ampere. Then if you make it 2 volts, 0.6 ampere. 3 volts, 0.9 ampere. And if you make it 4 volt, it will show 1.2 ampere. Now we will take this reading and plot a graph called VI graph. So if you consider 0 volt, current is 0. Then for 1 volt, 0.3, 2 volt, 0.6, 3 volt, 0.9 and 4 volt, 1.2. So when you join all these points, you get a linear graph. This linear graph shows that whenever you increase voltage, the current also increases. This is how we prove Ohm's law. Ohm's law says that the current flow in a circuit diagram is directly proportional to the voltage, that is potential difference. And the graph is known as VI graph. This graph is known as VI graph. We can also calculate the resistance here. So we know the formula V equals to IR. Then R will become V by I. We know here V and I from this table. You can take any value. If you take here 1 volt, then the current is 0.3 ampere. We will substitute same thing here. The voltage is 1 volt and the current is 0.3 ampere. So 1 by 0.3 it becomes 10 by 3, 10 divided by 3, that is 3.33 ohms. So the resistance of the wire what we used there, it is 3.33 ohm. We can use any value, 2 by 0.6 if you use, then also you get the same value, 3.33. So the resistance of the wire can be calculated by using this formula, V equals to IR, and R will be V by I, and the resistance SI unit is ohm. So the wire has resistance 3.33.